Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we have a deck donation from Fenster, and we are playing Slivers. This is a deck I'm pretty excited about because it's not like most of the decks that I play. We just get to play a whole bunch of Slivers, maybe draw a bunch of cards with our Winding Ways and lead the Stampedes, and bash in for a bunch of damage. This is apparently a list that Boshenrow played on his channel a little while ago, with some edits that he suggested. So this is the updated list. And if you're unfamiliar with Slivers, it's been a deck that's been around for a while. And basically we have a whole bunch of these Slivers that pump your entire team. We have 12 copies of a Sliver that's a 1/1 for 2 that pumps all of your guys by +1/+1. That makes these just a bear, but every single time you play another one, then they become 3/3s, 4/4s, etc. We also have Plated Sliver, which just buffs our toughness, but it's also only 1 mana. We can have Flanking for our whole team. We can make all of our team be able to tap for mana, which can be really powerful to turbo out some more of your extra Slivers. We can give Vigilance to the whole team. Of course, we are green-white mainly here, with some Thriving Lands, which can be used to tap for our additional colors in both our sideboard, and we have a 1 of red and black card in our main deck. Heart Sliver gives our Slivers haste, which can be really strong to just attack for a bunch right away, or even with the Birds of Paradise ability that allows your team to tap for a bunch, you can kind of just play all of your creatures from hand and they can tap right away. We also have a 1 of Crypt Sliver, which allows your Slivers to regenerate other target Slivers. Once this is on the field, it is very hard for us to lose any of our Slivers, assuming we're playing it right. And because of the meta we live in, we also have a couple Masked Vandals. This is of course a Sliver and just a very nice card. We have 2 in the main deck, 2 in the side, and those are the creatures that we're playing. We also have a couple Abundant Growths. This obviously just cycles and gives us access to any color of mana, another way to make it so we can play our red and black and blue spells in the sideboard. And we're playing a playset of Jolted Awake. Because we have so many valuable creatures, there's sure to be some that are dead because our opponent is going to be trying to kill them, and this could just do a great job of reanimating whichever one that we need at a given time, or even cycling if it's just not what we need right away. Now I will say I'm a little worried about the Winding Ways and the Lead the Stampedes in this list. Often these are played in like Elves or Spy decks where you have 40 plus creatures, and here we're playing 27, so there's definitely a possibility that we might whiff, but of course we're still playing a good amount of creatures and might be able to hit and high roll a little bit. Fenster said I was allowed to change some of the cards in the sideboard based on what I thought the meta would be. However, this is a deck very unlike what I'm used to, so I decided just to leave it as is because I didn't want to take a card out, not properly comprehending why it was there in the first place. So we're playing a couple of standard bearers. These could be good against Elves, Bogles, Mono White Heroic, anything like that. We have some counter magic with a Dispel and a couple Blue Blasts and Red Blasts. The Blue Blasts especially can be really good against Croat Clan Shamans because that's obviously going to be one of the most devastating things for us. A 1 of Weather the Storm when we're going up against red. Just 1 Weather the Storm does feel a little odd, so maybe this is one that could be changed for another Blue Blast or something, but we'll leave it as is. We have those 2 Masked Vandals as mentioned, and then we have a handful of kind of toolbox Slivers depending on what we go up against. Hunter Sliver gives your creatures Provoke, which allows them to untap a blocker and make that creature block this turn. This is going to be really good against Elves, Fairies, anything that has small, really important creatures that we're going to be able to eat with the Provoke ability. An extra Crypt Sliver against a heavy removal deck. A Winged Sliver, which can give your Slivers flying. This is great against a deck like Fairies, where flying is really relevant for them, or a deck like Gruul Monsters, where it could be really important for us to have flying to go over their chump blockers. And we have a 1 of Quick Sliver, which gives your entire team Flash. This could be really good against a control opponent, allowing you to play at instant speed, so if they hold up a counter spell and then tap out for a Brainstorm at end step, you can still flash in your creatures and play them a little bit there. So that is the deck. Really excited to take it for a spin, and let's jump into a league and see how we do. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a league video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right, this is we're on the draw and it's a 1-lander. If we draw any forest, it's pretty decent, but I don't think we can bank on that. All right, this one's got 2 lands. Start with a Thriving Heath on green, then we can play these 2 Slivers, then a Muscle Sliver maybe. I think we keep. This is tough because Vandal could be either really good or really useless, but I think we're going to get rid of Jolted Awake and just hope that the extra creature and potentially the artifact or enchantment removal could be pretty good. Land Grant. So we're against Spy. The Vandal's probably going to be irrelevant, unfortunately. Then again, the Jolted Awake could probably be irrelevant as well. Turn 2, they can go with a Battlement. Ooh, we get a Plains, so I could just start playing a Sliver. Yeah, and the next turn I can play another Sliver and play the Thriving Heath. So I get an extra attack in, which probably won't be relevant if they just have a blocker, but I might as well. Start with the Flanker. The toughness is going to be pretty irrelevant, and the flanking, it could matter. I mean, against the elves it'll matter, but obviously against the 0-4 battlement it's not going to matter until we're a little larger. On the draw, with not the best hand ever, this definitely could be a tough one. They can get 3 of their lands so far. They need to find a 4th and a spy, and they're pretty much just golden. Oh, they just top deck a forest. Okay, well, that's their 4th land. Heart Sliver. Well, that's annoying. We have to put this Heath on green, I think, because otherwise we might not have green for the Muscle Sliver, but then we're not going to be able to play the Heart Sliver. Yeah, I wish this was a green Thriving land, because then we could do green-red, but we're going to attack. They don't know what's in Sliver deck, probably. They don't know what's in a Sliver's deck, potentially, so they might not block. They do. Not afraid. And yeah, I got to put this on green. I mean, the chances are that we could draw. Obviously, we have much higher chances of drawing a green source than another red source, but if we don't draw the green source, we have no shot. They have another Battlement, Elven Farsight. So we know their cards, I believe. But next turn they can play a Generous Ent. That's going to be annoying. It's going to take a while for us to get bigger than a Generous Ent. And they find the Spy. So I don't think we have any counterplay to the Spy in their main deck. So if they just go for it, we're going to be toast. Plains, play the Muscle Sliver, and swing for 4. They just take it. We'll pass. Cycle the Ent. That's land number 4. And they cast the Spy. Anything out of the ordinary? I assume not. Lotus Petals, Tinderwall. Yeah. Well, Magic Online encountered an error, which is going to try to make us replay that game. But they definitely won, so I'm just going to concede because they were right there. I even already tried to concede. All right. Masked Vandals don't do much. Hunter Slivers could be good here to make them block. Crypt Slivers don't matter. Winged Sliver could be okay to make it fly. We don't have much of a Graveyard Hate sideboard, unfortunately. The Hunter Slivers could be really good, but we have to find them, and none of the rest of this matters. This could be fine against Aquarian, but that's not really going to matter. Yeah, I think we'll just do those 3. Our utility Slivers could be really important here. Haste could be great. Provoke could be great. All right, so we could do turn 1, Thriving Heath on probably green because we can play Abundant Growth for our other colors. So turn 2, Gemhide. Then we have these. It's not the most aggressive ever, but I think it's a keep. They mulligan to 4. So yeah, I'm going to play this on green. If I didn't have the Abundant Growth, I would definitely have put it on red, since we have now 3 red cards. They have the Paddle, so they could do like a Battlement or something. There it is. There's the Hunter Sliver. Okay, so what's the best way to get to hunting their creatures? I will say Provoke doesn't really work against a creature that can tap. At least not if they remember to tap it after we untap it, but not unless you can get it when it has Summoning Sickness, but you know, that's not gonna work on this guy. I think we probably play the Sinew. The next turn I could Gemhide and Plated, or I could just play the Gemhide this turn, which would still give us just as much mana. And if we top deck like a land here, Sinew's probably better. Yeah, let's just do that. Play a Caretaker, pass. Jolted Awake. So I could go for the land if I Abundant Growth onto the forest, hope for a land. If I don't get it, I could still just play a Plated Sliver. We're not getting it for damage though, so I could just play Sinew and I could get attack for 3. I think it's probably better if I do Gemhide and then Plated Sliver, because next turn I could then play Sinew and have 3 3/3s attacking, or 3 power creatures anyway. I think that's probably better. So we'll do Gemhide, Plated. They play a Tinderwall and a Lead the Stampede. Okay. Spy, Tinderwall, Aquarian, Generous Ent. They only have 1 land though, so the Spy's not that scary. Plains is great. Okay, so I could Abundant Growth, Hunted Sliver. Actually, I don't have to Abundant Growth because we already have Gemhide here. So we can Hunted and Sinew. 2 3/4s, and I can make these both block. And if they retap, by untapping the Caretaker, I actually allow them to get both of them out of this. So I actually should just untap the Caretaker or the Tinderwall. Probably the Caretaker because they can't use it later. 1 2 3 4 5. They don't have a forest for the Ranger, but they could with the Generous Ent. So 6. But then they don't have that much to play. Okay, I think we go for Hunted and Sinew. We just eat the Caretaker. Well, I guess if I just eat the Tinderwall, then they have 1 2 3, but they can't even really use this until they play this, then 4. Yeah, I kind of just think I'd rather eat the guy that is harder for them to save in general, or easier for them to save in general, and also doesn't sacrifice to use mana. So we're going to attack with these 2. Provoke the Caretaker, and yes, you have to block here. No, you don't have to block here. Since they don't have another untapped creature, they can't retap this, is my point. So here we eat one of their guys, and then we can eat the Tinderwall anyway next turn, which obviously if they burn it, that won't matter. And if we can find another +1/+1 sliver, then I can start doing that to the battlement, but the battlement can retap. So if they just know to retap it, I'm not actually going to be able to ever kill that. But like Quarian Ranger, Tinderwall, these are guys that I can start eating if they play. Like honestly, next turn if they play both of these, I could just eat 2 Tinderwalls and a Quarian Ranger. Cycle the Generous Ent. Cycle another Generous Ent. Play a Forest Ranger. I think they're deciding if they just want to cast the Spy and go for it. They have 1 land left in their deck, I believe, but they could YOLO, and it's either that or I'm going to eat all their creatures, so I think it's fair. We're just hoping that they whiff pretty bad. They got 19 creatures, but they can sacrifice some. They hit a giant, but no Dread Return. Okay, so we narrowly avoided it, I believe. No Dread Return, and now I get to eat these 3. They're just left with Swamp and a Battlement. Winding Way. Winding Way doesn't really matter at the moment. I'd rather Abundant Growth to potentially find like a 2-drop. That like pumps our team or something. Lead the Stampede. Okay, so I'll probably still Winding Way, but we're going to attack with everything. So provoke this, provoke this, provoke this, and then these have to target something, but you just decline. All right, and they concede. Yeah. Nice that they whiffed. I saw 19 creatures and was like, oh, we'll just barely survive. But obviously, if they had the Dread Return, they would sacrifice a couple and it would go up. But luckily, they whiffed on that. I mean, considering that was a 4-card hand, it was still pretty close. So it's not my favorite. This might be a matchup that we should have some sideboard cards for. I don't know if there's a Sliver that cares about like exiling from the graveyard. That'd be kind of cool. But if not, maybe a couple Thraben Charms or Relics of Progenitus or something. Thraben Charms could be good in general because it's just also removal and we're heavy on creatures. But obviously, I know that lowers the creature count for Lead the Stampede and Winding Way. All right, we have Flanking, Vigilance, tap lands, and a Lead the Stampede. This is way too slow, I think. Yeah, this one's better. We have Plated, Muscle, and then Muscle. I think I'll get rid of a Forest, keeping the Heath so that we can make red mana. Because again, I think Provoke Sliver is our best bet to win the game. Elves, Deep Shadow, Plated. There was the fear if we draw 1-drop and I kept the Forest, I could obviously on turn 3 play 2 creatures, but maybe we'll still draw the untapped land or something. They have Double Spy, Dread Return, Lotus Petal here. Find a Caretaker and a Wildling. That's a pretty fast spy with they only need to find 1 more land. I'm a little worried about this one. Attack for 2, they don't fall for it. They also just have 2 spies, so they could just cast 1 and then cast the other following turn. And even the Provoke Sliver doesn't do it right now because of the Thriving coming in tapped. Yep, that's what they're doing. Spy, target themselves. Oh, well, this one they actually hit, like everything. Dread Return and a Giant. Well, that seems like a pretty tough matchup, but we did take a game off of them. All right, on the play with no lands. 1 land, and it's not even the one that can cast our spells. Gotta go down to 5. 1 land again, but we have a bunch of 1-drops. The problem is they don't buff their power, so even if we cast all these, it's not doing much for us. I could keep. Yeah, I guess on 5, we'll keep. I think I'm going to put back the Gem Hide. Well, maybe not the Gem. I'm going to put back one of the 1-drops. I think we keep some of the card draw to try to make the mulligan better. Maybe get rid of Lead the Stampede and like a Plated Sliver. I know the 1-drops are the only ones we can cast right now, but if all I cast is 1-drops, we're going to lose anyway. So like maybe 1 or 2 turns of missing a land drop, we could be okay. But yeah. Not really where you want to be at. We play a Plains. Okay, we top deck the Forest. That's pretty good. I can't double 1-drop, so I think I just Gem Hide here. And then next turn I can play Winding Way and one of these guys. It's not an incredible spot by any means, but if Winding Way hits pretty well, we find some lands, we find some like Muscle Slivers, we might be okay. We're against Heroic. Okay, let's Winding Way. 4 creatures, that's pretty good. Thriving Grove on white, because we already have red from this guy. Play out a Sidewinder. Pass. Next turn I can Heart Sliver, and then all our guys have haste and tap for a mana, which means the 1-drops are basically free. 2-drops cost 1, etc. That was a really good hit, and we've drawn pretty well considering. We could be in some trouble, seeing as we're against a all-in aggro deck that we can't block. But here's hoping. They have a solid footing, so we take 4. Okay, we get a Forest. So I have 6 mana, so I can cast everything in our hand. The problem is we only have 1 Growing Sliver, so I can't actually attack. Well, we do have double flanking, actually, so I can. That actually makes a difference. Double flanking, this becomes a 2/2. All our guys are going to be 2/3s. Okay, we can actually attack. Let's play Heart Sliver, Plated Sliver, and Sidewinder are free. Play Muscle Sliver, and we might as well play Gemhide. And if we play Gemhide, we actually lose out on damage. Now we have tons of mana, so I think we actually save this for next turn. These are all 2/3s with double flanking. They're tapped out, so we should be able to attack with no consequences. If they don't understand flanking, then maybe we get them real good here and they block, but I'm not banking on that. I think that might be our best way to win, is that they just throw their creature away. Because even if we get, like, I guess our best draw now is like another Winding Way into a couple more Muscle Slivers, grow up our team. But if they get just like an Ethereal Armor or something on this to make it, it's already got Lifelink and Vigilance. If it then has First Strike and is like 8 power, it's going to be really hard to get through for lethal. They are weighing their options. I'm trying to figure out if we have something, I guess, or if they, if we're just trying to throw away a creature for a net of 2 damage. Opponent has lost connection to the game. I'm going to assume it's probably not their fault because MTGO has been on the fritz all day and week and month. Opponent finally rejoins and does not block. Sad choice for us. They took 8 minutes to decide if they wanted to, and unfortunately chose correctly. Sandstone Bridge gives +1/+1. It already had Vigilance, so it doesn't matter there. Homestead Courage adds a counter, also gives it Vigilance. Triple Vigilance, so it like untaps twice or something. Attack for 6. They got the life link. Yeah, 6 is a lot bigger than we can be. Even with one more buff sliver, we'd need 2 with the flanking to be able to rival this. I guess also because this Spirit Link is a trigger, if we could just get enough damage to kill them around this, we could get there. But oh, that's actually not a bad draw, although we have to throw away a creature to use it. They don't have one enchantment that's really throwing us off here. All right, it's only 5/5 because this was until end of turn. So actually, I mean, they'd probably have like a Benevolent Blessing or something because they left up mana, but a +1/+1 sliver might have actually done it. If we attack with everybody, they block 1, we get in for 10. Oh, actually, I have haste, so I could play this sliver too. I get in for 12, but they gain 5 back. I guess hitting for 7 is something, and then we get to Vandal away Spirit Link, I guess, so that we can race better. Yeah, I think that's what we got to do. The problem is they also get to block, they get to kill whichever one they want here, which is probably going to be the Muscle Sliver, or maybe they don't block again, but they do this time. Yeah, they have the Blessing. That's not actually going to give protection from the flanking, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to be able to kill it regardless. It does mean it's going to still get, it's going to gain them less life, but they have protection from green. Yeah, I mean, I guess I Masked Vandal that away. They already have flying. No, I don't think protection from green matters. I think it's got to be the lifelink. If we could top deck a Muscle Sliver, we can hit for 12, they'd go to 1. If we could top deck like Winding Way into 2 Muscle Slivers, that could be good. I don't know. Problem is they could just hit us for a bunch here and then next turn have lethal, and we'd have no way to stop it, so we have to find... unfortunately, there's no enchantment giving flying. It just has flying if it's modified, so can't stop that. Yeah, and Plains isn't going to cut it. Even with a Muscle Sliver, we're a damage short. No, because it has haste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They block 1. Yeah, Muscle Sliver actually would have dealt them 14 damage here. Oh, that's really annoying that we actually had an out. All right, Winged Sliver seems good for blocking there. Standard Bearer obviously is made for this. Hunter Sliver maybe. They have Ward, but like if that one turn we could have provoked them when we had all of the -1/-1, the flanking, maybe it could have been okay. More Vandals. Slivers regenerating is not bad. None of the rest of this. Okay, so toughness doesn't really matter for the plated slivers. However, we just want 1-drop slivers. So I don't know if I really want to cut those. Vigilance doesn't seem super necessary. Obviously, if they have flying, it's not great, but also they just have protection, ways to make protection and stuff like that. Regenerate could be necessary if they like don't have a flyer and we block everything, or if we have the Winged Sliver. I kind of think the Provoke is going to be not good enough. Haste is good. Jolted Awake just doesn't seem good here, I think. If they're flying over or getting protection, it's not great. If they're not, then they could be chump blocked. We also need to make room for all of these guys, though. I think we'll try it without the Jolted Awake. And we have 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 black here. Wait, did I pull in a Regenerate Sliver and then pull out another one? Well, that's fine. I think 2 might be too much anyway, and I think 1's fine. So okay. Yeah, we don't have any of our utility slivers, but we just have the Muscle Slivers. I don't know. We have a Lead the Stampede too, so hopefully this can find us some Masked Vandals and whatnot. I also think Masked Vandal and Jolted Awake are obviously playing at odds with each other because they both care about cards in your graveyard, so that's another reason I wanted to take out the Jolted Awakes, is I'd rather the creatures be used to fuel the Masked Vandals. All right, green. I don't think I need another white here. I have an Abundant Growth, so I don't know if it'll matter actually to make this like red. Blue for flying. Sure, we'll just hedge our bets and play blue. We already have white. We have abundant growth. I don't know. Trailblazer. I guess if we get like a second white 1-drop, maybe it'll matter. Yeah, I guess maybe I'd want to play 2 of these right now. But I also kind of think the muscle slivers tend to be decent. I guess you generally want to play more creatures sooner, because then you can attack for more. Yeah, okay, maybe that was a mistake. And of course they had to give us the 1-drop to punish my mistake, which is fine. Good to know for the future. Sandstone Bridge. They attack. I'm not going to block because I assume they have the deal damage equal to its toughness if it has vigilance. That's the one. Solid footing. So we took 6. Thriving Heath. Abundant growth here. Play Heath on green since we have every color now. Tap for white. We're going to pass. Hyena Umbra. Yeah, it feels like it's only 4. I'm going to take it, but it's possible I should be jumping now when they don't have a way to give protection or haven't given it protection from anything. Sidewinder. I think we just play Plated and a Sinew Sliver. I could lead the Stampede, but that doesn't deploy anything to the battlefield this turn. This way we can start attacking for some decent damage, and then ideally we'll start chumping probably with the Plated Slivers and Sidewinder just the 1-drops. I do obviously think now that I should have just put this on white. I don't think it would have changed that much at this point. Like, we could have had an extra Plated Sliver attacking here. If we hadn't played the Abundant Growth, which we wouldn't have needed to, then we could have a Sidewinder down to chump. Yeah, I could be getting in for 3 more damage, actually. That could be relevant. Deal them 6, and they emerge unscathed, just to give an extra heroic counter. I assume they're not going to choose white, because that would make them lose their auras, which means I could still block, unless they also have a Benevolent Blessing to give protection from white. Yeah, they chose green. Sandstone Bridge, Vigilance, so it's dealing 11. Yeah, if they now have the Benevolent Blessing, which does not make the auras fall off, I will not be able to block. Armadillo, block with the Plated Sliver, another Sinew, I had Vigilance, which is annoying, so I could play this, play a Sidewinder, attack with a bunch of 4/5s. They block 1, they maybe take 8, or they could just block with the Armadillo. They say they block, so they're at 10. They eat a muscle sliver, then we have to chump with a Sidewinder. A bunch of 3/4s. We have another muscle next turn. I can hit for 8. Yeah, it's not great. I kind of feel like we need to do it. I could lead the Stampede, but then we're just having to chump with like Plated and not even doing that much. I guess if we find if we find a flying sliver, I'm not even gonna have lethal, because next turn I go flying, flanking. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. All right, then we're going to play Sinew and Sidewinder, and we are going to attack, I think. Let's see, I could just block here, and then next turn I could attack with everything. We have 4/4/5s attacking. We could have 4, 5, 6s attacking with the muscle sliver. They still just block with an Armadillo, and the Trailblazer, they go to 4. Plus that means I'd have to block with the muscle sliver. If he's gone to 4, actually I think I do wait. We need them to not draw protection from white. Well, protection at all. I guess protection would let us block. Like if they get a blessing, we could still block with our green creature or our white creatures, whichever. We need them to not gain lifelink, unblockable, or anything like that. But actually, if they just have nothing at all or just things that pump just the Trailblazer, assuming this Armadillo doesn't become relevant, then I can hit him for a good chunk next turn, and then the following turn maybe too. They hit a Plains. Oh, right. Also, this doesn't have Vigilance. Okay, so I could take 6, actually, because they'd have to give it Vigilance at instant speed, but Bridge, Sentinel's Eyes, and the flashback one don't do that. They could have Emerge Unscathed, but they would need like a +2/+2 or like 3 Emerge Unscathed. None of that's going to work. They could have another Solid Footing and an Emerge Unscathed to deal us 9. But if we take this, then we can just play a muscle sliver and attack for 20, I think. If we block, we can play a muscle sliver. We could still attack for 15 around their Armadillo, but if they have another creature, we won't be able to. So do I want to play around another creature, or do I want to play around 2 instant speed spells, one of which has to give +1/+1? I think we're just going to take it and hope for the best. Because unless they have a way to give it +3 damage, they could have even 2 more creatures would still kill them with the muscle sliver. No, not 2 more creatures, because this doesn't have haste. 1 more creature would still kill them. They have the Solid Footing. I feel like they wouldn't cast that unless they had something else. No, that's 8. We're at 1. Okay. Plains. Okay, we might be able to get there then. All right, and we win. Oh, nice. Oh, that was close. I was real worried, but yeah, they had the Solid Footing. They would have just needed another instant speed spell, which they don't play that many. It's usually like, maybe 4 Solid Footings, 4 Emergence Scathe, and the Benevolent Blessings. But I feel like if they had Blessing, they would have maybe cast it earlier. I don't know. It was definitely a risk, but we were able to get there. And do I want anything else? Yeah, I did do this Crypt Sliver swap. I think haste and flying, like flying if we had had it for the offensive would have been good there. Obviously, if they get the Wonder Weave, it'd be good. Yeah, I think we just send it back. Would love to get some of our utility, but even just our big guys were able to get there this time. No lands. Okay, this can be on green, blue. Yeah, if we had done the green-white Thriving Land initially, we would have just probably been able to win that a little easier, so that's good to keep in mind. Okay, so we're down to 6, so I might put away a Plains, put this on blue, although then I wouldn't be double Sidewindering. I could just keep... I gotta keep Predatory, I gotta keep Winged Sliver, I think. So it's a Plains or a Sidewinder. I kinda think we get rid of the Plains, because the creatures are just so important. Yeah, I might turn one Sidewinder, or I might turn... Because I can't... Yeah, I think we're gonna do that, probably. They play a Trailblazer. Ooh, Standard Bearer, actually. That's now our main plan, blue. They can Benevolent Blessing our Standard Bearer so that and give it protection from white so they can't target it, but we're gonna hope they don't have that and want to get it down as soon as possible. I mean, they already have a 5/9, so this is already pretty crazy. Ideally, we can stop it from getting any bigger, and then maybe with the right draws, we can start chump blocking, but also develop our board. Armadillo, Vigilance, and this. Yeah, we need to find like a Masked Vandal to get rid of the armor or something. Take 5 here. We need a land here first, though. Forest would be great. That doesn't do it. Am I going to chump this turn? Probably not. Sidewinder's just 2 mana inefficient. I got to just put down a Muscle Sliver, or Predatory Sliver, I think. If they get a Plains... They can make this 4 toughness. Yeah, so they can hit us for 9 here, and then they're both lethal next turn. Or I could block, and then only this one's lethal next turn. But then I'm losing a Sliver. I think I just have to take it. Ugh, this is unfortunate. We have the Standard Bearer. We're missing a land drop, and they just have such a fast start. Okay, we get the Forest. Maybe we have a shot. Of course, now we're double chumping every turn. This is only blocks, right? Not becomes block whenever creature control. Yeah. That's annoying. I don't want to chump with the Standard Bearer, so I think I just have to throw out a Sidewinder and a Predatory. Chump here with the Sidewinder, double block the Armadillo with the Predatories. Yeah, if we can kill that, that'll at least make it so we only have to chump block with 1 thing a turn. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, they have to target the Standard Bearer. Okay, that's great. Oh, thank God. If they targeted the Armadillo, they could make it a 6 power. They could, well, yeah, 6 power because it gets +1 equal to its toughness. So they could kill both of our Predatory Slivers, which would be real bad. This has got first strike, so I can't even like triple. Yeah. If this didn't have first strike, I might throw all 3 of our Slivers on that and Standard Bearer here, but that's just not going to work. They also have to use all their mana on this if they want to kill one of these, which is, you know, something. Okay, trade there. All right, another Predatory Sliver. So I could lead the Stampede this turn, but then I have to chump with Sliver or Standard Bearer. I think I probably play Predatory and Sidewinder. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how I get out of this. I mean, I play Sidewinder and Predatory, chump with the Sidewinder. Even if I top deck another +1/+1 Sliver, they're going to be 4/4s. They first strike 1 down, and I can't kill the other one. Even if I throw the Standard Bearer in there. I could throw the Winged Sliver out and start attacking for 3 with the Sidewinder. Oh, is that anything? Play the Winged Sliver, attack for 3, Sidewinder chumps. Next turn I have Predatory Sliver, I can attack for 6, but then Predatory has to chump. I guess if every turn I draw a creature, and if I don't draw a creature, I can lead the Stampede, hopefully hit a 1-drop, then I could maybe get there with the Flyers. I kind of think that's my best bet. Otherwise, I'm just like playing these, chumping, and I don't even know what I'm hoping for. Yeah, I think we're going in. I guess we're only hitting for 2 this turn. Well, what are you going to do? I could also chump with the Standard Bearer at some point. It's not going to be here because I don't think flanking is very relevant. Well, actually, wait. The problem is if I chump with it and then they have lifelink, I'm going to lose. If they have a way to give it protection, I'm going to lose. But if I don't chump, I could play Predatory attack for 9, and then the next turn, if I can get another... I would have to chump with the Predatory, but if I can get another one, I could hit for another 9. But if they gain lifelink, I just lose. We're going to chump here for now. Masked Vandal's great. Okay. That changes things, because if I take away the Ethereal Armor, this is just a... Well, it's still lethal because I'm at 1, which is really annoying. But it's just a 3/7, which means I could block with the Masked Vandal. Yeah, let's do that. Take away the Ethereal Armor. So a Sidewinder, flying, hit for 4. And then I could block with Vandal. Next turn I could play Predatory Sliver, hit for 6 in the air. Block here. Vandal was a great draw. Okay, land is fine. That's good for the lead, the Stampede. So I'm going to play Predatory Sliver. I could hit for 9 flying. Then they're at 5, and I could just chump with the Predatory, and then I can hit for 6 next turn. So either that or I could just attack for 6 now. They go to 8. I have a Vandal block, and then I have 12 on them next turn. That might just be better, I guess, because I don't have to lose the Predatory Sliver in case they can gain life in some way. Yeah, let's hit for 6. Thriving Grove on red. Red is haste. Yeah, haste could be good. Homestead Courage. Target creature you control. Dang, okay. I was like, why isn't that targeting this? Yeah, it has to target a creature they control. Okay, that's still fine. It's not gaining life or anything. I still just chump with the Vandal and then hit for 9 flying. Crypt Sliver. Nice. All right, we got there. That was sick. The Winged Sliver actually going on the offensive really worked there. The Vandal was super key, and the fact that it was buffed by being a Sliver kept it alive for an extra turn. That was sick. All right, we're against Marzaboy. They played a lot of Dredge for a while. They played some Black Sack for a little while. We're on the play. No 1-drop, but we have 3 lands, 2-drop, 2-drop, and then land, draw spells. I think we keep it. Start with a forest to make it look like we're doing something unfair, and then we swoop into something really fair, whereas if we start with the plains, they're going to assume we're something fair to begin with. If it is Dredge, no Graveyard Hate is going to hurt us again. Looks like it's just something red for now. Okay. Well, the Slivers here just dying to bolts is pretty unfortunate. I could just start with a Sentinel Sliver, because I don't care as much if that dies. I think that's fair. It still blocks nicely. The jig is up, though. They know what we're playing, obviously. Melded Moxite. Okay. So it's like with the Snacker. Yep. Moxite burn. Plated Sliver would actually be a nice draw. I mean, I guess it wouldn't get these out of range of bolts right away, but still, we'd be able to play it. Another Predatory. So I could just throw out one of these for some damage. It could be okay, but it's very mana inefficient. I think we're just going to lead the Stampede here to try to hit some 1-drops as well as some other stuff. This is the first hand we had, we hit 2 1-drops, but nothing else. Not the best. And this is the first hand where we didn't have a 1-drop, but then we didn't even have a thriving land to play, which is kind of annoying, because now we don't have access to other colors of mana if we do need that. They discard a Fire Blast. They swing with both, so they're going to have a Lava Dart that they might kill this Sliver with. I guess I'd rather that doesn't happen, so I'll take the damage. Dang, a land would have been real nice there. All right, we're going to start with a Plated Sliver, and then a Muscle. Swing for 3. Vigilance is not bad here. I mean, we didn't end up blocking there, and these guys would be untapped anyway, so it's not the biggest deal. But, I mean, especially if we get a Forest next turn, we're going to be able to crash for some big damage. Assuming we don't die here. They just dart us, so that's not a great sign. Might just be using their mana, but obviously if they have like a Flame Breather or something, we could take a lot here. Another Moxite. I guess with the Sinew Sliver, we don't even need a Forest. Just an untapped land would let us play 2 of these, and then we'd have like 13 damage attacking in. Discard a Flame Breather. They bolt the Sliver. Yep, the Muscle Sliver. Swing with the Snacker. Untapped land. Nice. All right, so we just get to slam Sinew and Predatory. Attack for 7, but this also means that our guys no longer die to bolts, which is great. We're still at 13, so they have a Lava Dart. You know, we could definitely get burned out, but things aren't looking too bad here. They chump down to 12. If they just have a Snacker to chump next turn, I can play a Predatory Sliver, and that could be lethal. So they need another blocker, or maybe to commit 2 bolts to a creature or something. Either one of those would be fine by us. They start with a Robbery. Discard a Fiery Temper. They might have to kill a Sliver here with a Lava Dart and the Temper. If they do the math, they know they're dead to a Predatory Sliver, unless they also happen to just draw like a Mountain and an Epicure, which is possible. Yeah, they go for face. Okay. They leave it back. All right. They're taking that chance, I guess. But I think we just win here. Crypt Sliver does not matter. Predatory should just do it, because they block here. We get 3 4/5s hitting in for 12 damage. Oh, Fire Blast the Sliver in response. Sure. That's pretty good for us anyway, but that does keep them alive, which is relevant, obviously. Play a Sidewinder and swing. Oh, this is only 10 damage now, so they don't even have to block, which they probably shouldn't, because now they probably assume their last turn. Oh, they concede? What? Why would they even Fire Blast there if they were going to concede? I feel like they take 10, they have a Lava Dart, and this. I mean, they have 1 land, maybe 2 to deal 7 more damage, but if they get like Lightning Bolt, yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot for them for sure. Maybe they just realized that doing the math, it wasn't going to work, but that was a nice way to start. Obviously, Weather is made for this, as well as Blue Blasts, maybe the Dispel too. I don't think any of these guys are super necessary. Like, regenerate target Sliver's cool against their stuff, but I think it's just too slow. Usually they're only going to be killing our stuff if they haven't already killed us, in which case that's kind of a good thing for us. So I think we can cut that. Haste could still be good though. Vigilance probably isn't super necessary. Against 1 Epicure it's okay, but again, we're playing creatures every turn, and I don't think we need it. It was kind of cool there, but not super necessary. And Vandals, they have the Moxite, but that's it. Probably. They're playing Lava Darts and Fire Blasts, so I don't really expect Great Furnace. Obviously, they have Blood. Yeah, I don't think we need the Vandals. So that makes room for these. Anything else I want to change? Standard Bearer, no. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so we are 1 red and 3 blue. So if we're choosing a color for these, we're probably going to do blue in the dark. Obviously, if we have the red card in hand, we'll just do that. All right, we have 1-drop, 2-drop, 2-drop, Jolted Awake for if they kill a thing. lead the Stampede for later. By leading with the Sidewinder, oh, perfect. That's a great draw, actually, because if I led with the Sidewinder, it just dies to a Lava Dart, which I really don't like, because as soon as we have a Predatory Sliver out, it wouldn't die to a Lava Dart. But the Plated Sliver buffs itself, so it's a 1/2, which means now I don't have to fear the Lava Darts at all, because this and the Predatory Sliver, and this is like a I don't remember what the ability is called, but like an ability effect or something. So like there's no way they can respond to this. There's no it enters the battlefield and they can kill the Sliver in response to it buffing itself. They even have the Lava Dart. Ooh, land is good. That means next turn I can Sidewinder and Predatory. So hit for 2 here. Yeah, so next turn I can hit for, assuming these don't die, hit for 6. If they do kill the Predatory Sliver, which I kind of expect off a Fiery Temper, it's like 3 toughness, it makes sense. Unless they're going to try to burn us out first, which is possible too, but they saw how that went last time. But if they do kill this, then I can just Jolt it awake into Predatory Sliver, and then we have 4 toughness guys against them, which means they don't die to Bolt anymore. Plated Sliver's obviously fantastic in this matchup. Exactly what you want. So yeah, Jolt this guy awake, Predatory Sliver, and we have a bunch of 3/4s, so if they Fire Blast one of these down, or like Bolt plus Lava Dart, then the others can start getting bolted, but they have to make that leap, which is nice. And we just have a 2-turn clock on them here. Gutter Snipe obviously can have a much faster clock on us. Heart Sliver. Dang, if I had red, this would be so good, because then I could play that and Sidewinder. Attack for lethal, force a chump, or a gutter, or a Fire Blast, but that's not the case, which means I probably just lead the Stampede. Then I have to leave one of these guys back to block, because I don't want to let them get a free attack in. Or I could just Sidewinder, hit for 9. It's a lot less mana efficient, but they go to 6, and then I have 4 lethal attackers. I kind of think I'm dead if I just pass here, but I don't have an alternative. But trying to figure out the best way to set it up. Yeah, lead the Stampede. Unless I find Gemhide, Haste, that wouldn't really work. I think we're playing Sidewinder. Super mana inefficient, but since I'm dying, I think they or I am dying this next turn. I don't think it matters too much. Maybe they just Fire Blast here to prevent damage, but yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, they didn't even cast anything on the end step. Maybe that's a good sign that they didn't have a Bolt. Or maybe they just have another Gutter Snipe or Flame Breather they want to play first. Searing Blaze, well, I don't love that. Yeah, that hits that. We go to 11. They can Lava Dart it. We go to 9. They can attack for 2. We're at 7. So pretty much any 2 spells is going to get us, probably. There it is, Lava Dart. I wasn't thinking about the Searing Blaze, because obviously the Lava Dart still 8 of damage on the Sliver that would have gone at our face, but the Searing Blaze would have done it either way. So maybe lead the Stampede would have been better here. I mean, they still have to kill us or have another blocker or kill another guy. Like, they haven't just killed us, but I guess they could be worried about a Weather the Storm or something, which would be great if we had that in our hand. They're not going to attack. Okay. Well, we're not dead. Maybe this makes the lead the Stampede play worse. I feel like they did all of that on the Sidewinder because they were planning to attack, and then they changed their mind, because it would have been better for them to kill a Predatory Sliver. Oh, well, they're Fire Blasting in our upkeep. Yeah, they were worried about the Weather the Storm. Well, we're just dead then. They're doing it in our upkeep. They're not slow rolling us. They're playing around Weather, which is totally fair, but a little annoying that that's what's happening. They just have double Fire Blast, it looks like. Yep. We die. I mean, I could Standard Bearer to, like, make sure they have to bolt it first, but they just have Lava Darts, so that just doesn't make any sense. I still don't think Crypt Sliver makes sense. Yeah, I think if we were on the play there, I think we might have been able to get them. Or obviously if we had to Weather the Storm. Ooh, no creatures. How's no creatures? I mean, we have the card draw, but we just don't start doing anything till turn 3 at best. We cannot keep that. 1 lander. No, that's not going to work either. This is a pretty good hand. I mean, just for boom, 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 a bunch of attacks. Unfortunately, we have to put back 2 of these guys, because we have to keep our mana, we have to keep our 1-drop. Might as well keep 1 of each color, I guess, for all that it'll matter. Yeah, that'd be a really good 7-card hand. It's still not a bad 5-card hand, but if we just get a couple things bolted down, we might have some serious trouble. Okay, if we draw another land next turn, lead could be good. Sliver, yeah, if they just bolt the Predatory, we're not in a great spot, but they take it. Okay, Searing Blaze, yeah, that's annoying. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to just lead the Stampede here. We need to make something happen, and not drawing more than 2 off of these. Oh, well, I definitely clicked both of those, but apparently it did not give me the Plated Sliver. That's really annoying. Yeah, that's frustrating. If we don't draw a land, then the Plated Sliver would be enormous no matter what. I guess we get another 1-drop, that's something, but pretty annoyed that it did not grab, because obviously I'd prefer a Plated Sliver here, because these would be 2/4s. Surviving Bolts. Just the lag of MTGO not letting me grab that card there. They only have 4 cards in hand. Maybe we'll be okay. They just have all the Searing Blazes, though. Jeez. And Plated Sliver would have protected that. Robbery away a mountain. Blue Blast, but we don't have any way to use it. Swing for 2. I guess if we get a Gemhide Sliver, I can hold this up next turn. Grab the prize with a Fiery Temper. Yep. Pick off the sinew. Pass. We get another sinew. They're gonna lava dart in response. Flash it back. I guess if they have another lava dart, they can kill this guy. Swing for 2. Melded Moxite. Bring back a snacker. Bolt down the Sidewinder, because it makes it so the snacker doesn't block very effectively. Yeah. Well, the turn when we would have had the plated sliver, they very well could have had a bolt in response, but if they didn't, this game would have been entirely different. They would have not been able to kill everything as efficiently as they have, and I think we would have won, frankly, if they didn't have response to it, because they've already been struggling a little bit with killing all these guys, and they just would have been struggling even more. We do get a Winding Way. This is going to put the creatures in our hand no matter what. We do get 4 creatures. Okay, so we have a chance here. I could play a Predatory Sliver and attack for 3, and now the Sneaky Snacker doesn't kill it. I could, however, just play a Gemhide Sliver and hold up a Blue Blast. I think that's probably better, safer, because as soon as they get a Gutter Snipe, they're going to try to win the game. They get to make a robot here, which can attack in, but next turn, I can play 2 of our Growing Slivers and still have Blue Blast up and even attack. There's a Flame Breather. I think I gotta counter that. They haven't had a Gutter Snipe. They would have played it already, and they could have just a lot of damage here. And I'm sure they weren't expecting that, so hopefully that'll catch them off guard and gives us some value. They just pass. Thriving Grove. Yes, we're gonna play Sliver, Sinew Sliver. If this resolves, they're above bolts. All right. So I could just Gemhide. The next turn we have 5 4/4s attacking. I'm assuming I'm not dead, but I can't do anything about that regardless now that we don't have the Blue Blast. I could attack, but they could actually block, kill this one, shrink these. They only take 4. Yeah, I think I just cast this. And we have enough attackers to kill him next turn. Play a Thriving Grove on blue and just hope they don't top deck the win. They don't attack, which means they can't have lethal because they would have attacked with the snacker. I guess they could have a Fire Blast on one of these, block, and they go to 1. Oh, but we get a Jolted Awake. That's a perfect draw because we surely have a Sinew Sliver here. Yep. Grows the team. So even if they Fire Blast one of these, I should be able to win still. Yep, they're going to Fire Blast in response. And then we win. Oh my gosh. I really thought I threw there by... the Lead the Stampede already only got us 2 cards, so it was already bad. But then the 1 card was going to be really relevant. I was pretty annoyed by that. But the Blue Elemental Blast was clutch. And we did draw pretty well. We drew a lot of our buffers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We drew half of them in 19 cards, but we had, Winding Way, Lead the Stampede. The Winding Way also was amazing, hitting 4 cards there. Nice. Well, our round 4 opponent never loaded in, and we just automatically won the match. I assume this probably is not their fault. Magic Online has been having issues all day, but don't worry, I'll add an extra match at the end so that we still get a full 5 that we get to see. All right, we do have another round here. What round is it? Who knows at this point? We have a 1-lander on the play with a whole bunch of 1-drops. I mean, the problem is that these don't buff power, right? So playing 1, 2, 3 is kind of cool, but then we have a bunch of 1/3s with flanking. That doesn't seem that good. If we top deck a forest, we get a Muscle Sliver, it's okay. I don't think this is where we want to be. This hand is basically exactly the same, except it traded it in for a tap land. And finally, we have a reasonable hand. We're going to keep this one, so we have green-white. We're not playing anything till turn 2, so I don't have to put as much priority on the 1-drops. I kind of think we just get rid of Sidewinder and probably Jolted Awake. If we draw a 3rd land, I want to have the plated. I think plated is better than the flanking one in general, just because it helps against burn and other numeral-based removal. Looks like we're against Grixis Affinity. Could be Jeskai. We do get a forest. Well, we're playing one of these guys, and the next turn we're playing these 2. If they have a slow start, we could definitely get them with just a bunch of 3/4s. Thriving Grove, play a Plated Sliver, play a Sinew Sliver. They funnily can't Galvanic Blast yet. They could have in response to the Plated Sliver, but since they didn't, I know this guy should be able to survive. Oh, never mind. They have the Cast Down. I mean, Grixis doesn't usually play Cast Downs at this point that I've seen. Maybe 1 or 2. So... apparently I was too hasty with the it's going to survive talk. Good news is that means there's no way they have Toxin Krark combo, because they wouldn't have done that if they did. They do have a Refurb, which is a little annoying because I wanted that land in case we get a Lead the Stampede or something. They also Thoughtcast. Now they could have Galvanic up. Abundant Growth. Let's draw a card. And it's a Thriving Grove. Well, we're going to attack. I mean, if they have Galvanic Blast for the Sinew and then block here and trade, it's pretty bad. We'd probably be dead, but I'm going to play the land, and this is already white. I mean, I guess I'll choose, like, blue. Now that we have the Abundant Growth, it doesn't matter too much, but obviously if I get, like, a Lead the Stampede into 2 of our utility creatures, I might want to play 2 of them. They have a Wellspring. I mean, if we get a draw spell, I think we could have a shot here. Without a draw spell, even if we get, like, a Sliver every single turn, we're going to be falling behind pretty quick, I think. Predatory Sliver, well, we're going to play it. They're going to Galvanic Blast in response. Still get to attack for 2. Hope they don't have Block and Toxin here. That's exactly what they have. I mean, Grixis has got to be one of our worst matchups just because Krark Toxin kills us. We do get more Vandals from the sideboard and Blue Blasts. They have a Fountain, Blood Away, a Bridge, Refurb to draw a card. There's the Lead the Stampede. Okay, cast that. We draw 3. Let's make sure we actually get them all this turn. Plated. That lets me attack with this guy. And then next turn I can double Muscle Sliver. I mean, that's not bad. They do block. Oh, just so they can double Refurb here. Well, that's pretty annoying. Crack the Clue. Yeah, if they have another untapped black source, they can... which they do. They can just take both Muscle Slivers. Ugh. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked for that reason, actually. Yeah, I think that would have been better. We would have kept at least one of these around. Oops. Top deck a Muscle Sliver anyway. Swing... They can double block on the Predatory. Yeah, if we hadn't made that mistake, they could have, like, cracked the Blood Fountain for 1. We'd still have double Muscle Sliver here, though. They're down to 12. Spell Bomb. Doesn't matter too much. Obviously, we have Jolted Awake, but we can always just cycle that, and they crack it right away anyway. There's the Krark. Without Death Touch, they have to sacrifice 4 artifacts, but they have plenty that they're not even going to be crippled on mana. They're going to be able to attack for 4. Yeah, they just go for it. All right, Winding Way off the top. So far, every Lead the Stampede has given us 2 or 3 creatures, and the Winding Ways have hit 4, I think every time, once or twice. So those are definitely luckier for us. Take 4. We get a Plains. We have maybe one more turn. If they drew poorly, we top deck a draw spell, a Wellspring, Thoughtcast, another Thoughtcast. We get a Sidewinder Sliver. Yeah, I don't think that's going to cut it, unfortunately. Yeah, we did make that big misplay. We didn't draw terribly. That Muscle Sliver would have been good. We maybe could have gotten there if I hadn't made that blunder. We get Vandals. Dispel also prevents the Death Touch, but even just the Krark is pretty devastating. I think the Blue Blast is probably fine there. Winged Sliver also makes it so that the Krark doesn't work preemptively. I kind of like that. We haven't seen Crypt Sliver work here, but I don't think... I mean, I guess if they have Cast Downs and Galvanics, maybe it's decent to keep in. Vigilance doesn't seem necessary. Jolted Awake's probably fine. They'll probably take out Spell Bombs. I think maybe a couple Flankers we could take out. Haste is always good. Huh, not really sure what else. I mean, Gemhide's kind of important for the red and the blue splash. I guess just another Sidewinder. I don't love taking out all the 1-drops. They are just worse than our 2-drops. Crazy concept there, I know. I feel like we got to keep the card draw in because it's the only way to, like, recuperate from a board wipe. I don't know. All right, we have 1, 2, 2. Seems all right. Plus we have any color mana if we get our utility creatures. Pretty good aggressive start. I wish there was a... I mean, this would probably be busted. I wish there was a Plated Sliver that gave power. Like, it was a 2-1. Power Creep has probably come far enough we could do that now, right? Because then I could keep those one-lander hands with, like, a bunch of 1-drops where it's like, well, they still get really big and powerful. They got a Wellspring, so I can hit for 6 here. Like, that could really make Slivers pretty decent, I think. Jolted Awake's decent. For later, obviously. Draw a card here. I'll probably just play the Muscle Sliver, but might as well check. Ooh, Winding Way is a good draw too. Alright, this hand is shaping up real nicely. Crack in for 6. If we can Winding Way into another buff Sliver, then we can present lethal. Blood Fountain. So they could have they could have Cast Down, they could have double Galvanic, which would be annoying. We're just gonna Winding Way first. Creature. Okay, Vandal and Plated Sliver. Vandal doesn't yet have anything to work on, but if they kill something here, then I can Vandal away a land, which could hinder them a little bit. I think that's probably good. If they don't, I can just... Okay, they didn't. I could just Winding Way again. I could play a Plated Sliver, but it kind of feels like we already have a bunch of lethal attackers. If they get the Krark, it's kind of a waste. Well, it's not a waste unless they, you know, it would make them sack one more thing unless they find Death Touch. It's also mana inefficient. I think we're just going to go for another Winding Way. That one hits 2 Muscle Slivers. Okay. So, like, even if they wipe this board, we have quite a good backup. Bargain to gain a couple life. Galvanic Blast. Then Krark. Blue. Okay. Thoughtcast. They got the Death Touch. Looks like they have Death Touch, but they want to wait, which I think is fair. They choose not to. Oh, okay. They Mirror Enforcer. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Another one. Okay, so I can Jolted Awake and Plated Sliver. So they have 7 artifacts. If I play, for every, like, Sliver buffer that I play, they're going to have to sack another artifact. Currently, they already have to sack 3. So I could Masked Vandal right here. Oh, we only have 1 Sliver in the grave, but they'll probably put more. Yeah, so I could exile Mirror Enforcer. If they sack in response, they could sack 3 to kill our board. But then I could play Muscle Sliver, Jolted Awake, 1, 2, 3. They wouldn't be able to Blood Fountain again next turn for a Krark. They'd have to have another Krark in hand. So it's either that, or I could just, like, play Plated Sliver here. If they don't sack in response, then they have to sack another one. Then I Predatory Sliver. They have to sack 5 now, and then I Masked Vandal. They know I have the Vandal. Yeah, I think that's what we do. Because if they don't respond here, then I just make them sacrifice a million things. And we still just have pretty decent follow-up. Bring back the Sliver. So now they have to sacrifice 5. And now I take out the Mirror Enforcer. I guess I could have also just played another Muscle Sliver. But that would I would have worse follow-up. Like, that would be 6 toughness. Like, they could let this go. Oh, I didn't have anything in my graveyard. Well, that was silly. Yep, that's annoying. That's a big mistake. Yeah, I should have just played a Muscle Sliver, because now I can't attack. They could double block, and I just kill a Krark, but they could bring it right back. Well, that could be costly, because if I had exiled this and they didn't take it, then I could force the chump block. Okay, well, we're going to hope I didn't just throw. And that they, I mean, I did throw no matter what. Even if they have death, even if they don't have Death Touch, they're going to be able to assemble more artifacts to sacrifice, and it's going to be less costly. Fanatical Offering, yeah, that was a mistake. Refurb, I think I refurb away the, let's see, the Muscle Sliver. They are going to be able to wipe our board. It's just, do we have decent follow-up, and are they going to have any lands left? The Winding Way at least gives us a better chance to have more follow-up. I guess 2 Muscle Slivers is just lethal, so maybe that would have been fine. I don't know. Definitely a big throw, but let's hope it pays off. Well, not pays off. Hope it doesn't win them the game. Cast down on a Sliver. So we're at 4 right now. Now they have another blocker. Blue Blast. Interesting. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they can sacrifice 5 and not be in too bad a shape afterwards. Or I could play a Muscle Sliver. That just eats one of their things, though. I think I just Blue Blast the Krark. No, I could save that for the next one. If I just attack, block, they take 4, go to 1. Play a Muscle Sliver first. Have to sacrifice or block something more. Yeah, let's Muscle Sliver. I could Winding Way, but then they're going to know it's coming too, which feels worse. They're going to sack in response. Okay. Unfortunately, this is going to kill off all their Slivers, so then the Masked Vandal is going to take lethal damage too. And blasting here doesn't make a difference. And I could hold it up for the next Krark. I think we just got to be mana efficient here. Find one Sidewinder. Brother, yeah, that was real bad. Another Vandal. Neither of these buffs this, so I might as well just attack for 2 and play Masked Vandal. Let's see. I Vandal away a land. They Blood Fountain back, Krark, Refurb, maybe? Probably. And then if they Refurb first, I need to have a Sliver to discard so that I can blast it, I think. Yeah, let's Vandal. I think hampering their mana is still probably the right call. This time I actually have creatures in the graveyard. Refurb Mirror Enforcer. Okay, fair enough. So then is Blue Blast even going to do anything? Maybe they have a Krark, but I guess they're probably just refurb and then they want another blocker. So I guess I want another attacker. Because if they have nothing else and we get another pump creature, then we kill them. They have another Blood Fountain, okay. And a land, there's the refurb, and the Enforcer, and they just have another Krark. Why not? And they're going to sacrifice right now, sure. Probably just 2 to wipe these. I guess they could do 3 and keep the Enforcer alive still. Yeah, they don't even care about the Vandal. Fair enough. Lead the Stampede's pretty good, potentially. Never mind. We've done pretty poorly on all of those. They Thoughtcast, pass, Plains. I could hold for a refurb, but I honestly think our best draw is another draw spell, and being able to play things after that would be nice. They crack for Krark and a refurb. Draw a card, play the Krark. Plains. Yeah, we're not going to get there. I wish that we had not thrown there. I think we could have won that game, and we just made that pretty big mistake. This says we got a 3-2, but obviously that one match didn't really count, so let's just do another match real quick. All right, here we're playing another match to make up for that lost one, and it's not the best hand ever because these Sidewinders, well, they could be good depending on what we're up against, but they don't grow the toughness, so it doesn't help keep our guys alive from spells. Obviously it could in combat. And the double abundant growth is a little unnecessary. It looks like we're against Gardens or Pest or something. I think we're just going to go as fast as possible, which is going to be really hard if they have like a Snuff Out or something. But hit for 2 and pass. Tithing Blade, I mean, not the worst. Kills one of our guys, but not the important one. Plated Sliver does help. Well, we might as well start with Abundant Growth in case we get, I guess, just another untapped land. We could play both of these. Not that we want that, but Masked Vandal could be okay. Play Plated Sliver, Thriving Heath. We're just going to go on green since we already have our multicolored land, and we're going to have another one with the growth. So I could Vandal away the Campfire to make it so they can't gain life. Wraith, which could be nice. They could just have a Crypt Rats, which could wipe the board next turn. Yep, that's what they got. Sentinel Sliver doesn't do much. Let's play Abundant Growth. I don't really want to throw out more guys to get Crypt Rats away. We'll attack for 4. Even if they throw out like a Masked Vandal, they're going to hit everything for 3. I mean, Sentinel, Sliver, yeah, like these all just shrink as the other creatures die. I think I just pass here. I'd rather not have the Crypt Rats kill more creatures, but if they just have like, you know, Cast Down or something, could be worse. They do just attack with the Crypt Rats. Another Tithing Blade. Yeah, that's the part I was worried about, is that they just might not pop the Crypt Rats until we have more creatures on board. Predatory Sliver makes them use a little bit more mana. Play that, swing for 3, and I guess we'll Masked Vandal down the Campfire. Maybe I should have just played the Predatory Sliver is our best sliver, so maybe I should have just played like a Sentinel Sliver or something to draw out the Crypt Rats activation. Exile Campfire. I mean, they're missing land drops, which is nice. Well, I should play the Sinew Sliver on the off chance that they let it resolve before they're using the Crypt Rats. Then it could pump them so they wouldn't die. But yeah, they're going to just kill everything in response. Play a Sentinel Sliver, cycle a Troll, pass the turn, you get a Plated Sliver, swing for 5. And they offering away a Blade, take 5, okay. So, Plated Sliver, I think we just play everything. If they get another Crypt Rats, they're only going to be able to activate it for 2 right away. All of these are lethal, or no, these are 2 power, except for the Sentinel, so 2 of them would be lethal. If they kill this one, if they can kill 2 of these, they can still survive, but, or blocks would be good too. Jolted Awake can bring back another Muscle Sliver, which would mean even if they block here and kill this, I'd still have lethal. They have to have 2 kill spells. All right, let's do that. Swing with the team. Block. We get to flank them down. Fanatical Offering. Looking for like double Defile. There's 1. Kills this, but they take the other 4. All right, we win that game. Let's see. Crypt Sliver isn't useful against the Tithing Blade or the Defile, but it's good against Crypt Rats. They're going to probably play Cast Downs, maybe Snuff Outs, so it's good against all that. I kind of think the Flash Sliver, Quick Sliver, can also be really good, because if they tap out thinking we don't have anything and then we can flash in a couple guys, it could be pretty decent. Dispel can get rid of their removal, and then maybe Vandals. Vandal got rid of Campfire, which was okay. Wasn't the best thing ever. Vigilance is totally unnecessary. Yeah, I think we want as many, like, small creatures as possible. Jolted Awake is good. I think we take out the, or not the Gemhide. We need those for our splash. I think we take out the Masked Vandals. They were okay, but generally most of their artifacts are going to be relevant like late game. Campfire could be annoying, but we can get big enough to really not care about that. So we have 2 black, 1 red, 1 blue to keep in mind. All right, this is not keepable, nor is this. Yeah, I guess so. We have Gemhide, but kind of feels like we need to put back Dispel Plains. Maybe if we draw right, we can do okay. Like, yeah, I just don't think we can afford to keep the Dispel, even though we have the blue mana to use it. Sinew's not a bad draw. Tithing Blade, yep. Jolted Awake. I think I just go for the Gemhide. Sinew just doesn't do that much. It dies to another Tithing Blade. It dies to whatever. I mean, everything dies to whatever, but maybe we get off a Lead the Stampede, or well, they just snuff out. Okay, well, fair enough. No reason for them to do it at end step, but they got us. Jukabog actually a little annoying with the Jolted Awake. If I get a land, I'm just going to Lead the Stampede here. If not, I guess I'll just throw out one of these. I should do the Sinew in case I get a Forest and they kill this. Then I might want to Muscle and Jolted Awake. Offering the Blade, cycle a Troll, Lembas. Well, another Muscle Sliver. All we have to do is play one, or cycle a Jolted Awake, which we're not going to do. I mean, if they don't have removal, you know, this could be a lot of damage quick. 3 and then 4 from each of them, but I assume, yeah, there's the Defile. Fanatical Offering and a Lembas. Play a Swamp. All right, we got the Forest, so I'm going to just play the Lead the Stampede. Well, I guess since I had the Jolted Awake, maybe I should have just Muscle Sliver Jolted Awake. We hit for 2 extra. Plays around Crypt Rats decently, but I kind of want to get some more other stuff. Crypt Sliver, for example, which we cannot play, but could be good. Quick Sliver. Well, they know about the Quick Sliver now, which is going to make things awkward, but could still be pretty decent. Yeah, if we can get Abundant Growth for the Crypt Sliver or something, that'd be really nice. Witch's Cottage, back the Troll, play a Wellspring, and pass, another Jolted Awake. So, yeah, I could Jolted Awake and play a Muscle Sliver. I could Jolted Awake and hold up Quick Sliver, but it doesn't do as much damage this turn. It probably is better to play around some stuff, though. Yeah, let's Jolt this Awake, though. Swing for 3. They cast down. Yeah, if I just Muscle Sliver, they could have a Crypt Rat, swipe them both. We'll just pass. They sack a Lembas. They cast a Troll. Okay, I'm not Not scared of that. Flash in the Quicksliver, not Quicksilver. Plains. Well, I can Muscle Sliver, Jolted Awake a Muscle Sliver. These are 4 tough, and then Sidewinder, so then they trade with the Troll. I will bring this back. I don't really want to trade with the Troll, but if I do that, I'm only getting in for 4. I could also just wait until next turn, and then I could get in for a whole bunch more. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Pass the turn. What do they know we have? They knew about the Quicksliver, Crypt, and Sidewinder. Okay, so they just don't know about the Muscle Sliver. Tithing Blade. I think I'd rather lose a Sidewinder, or I could lose the Quicksliver, jeez. Except I have to cast this Muscle Sliver first. Yeah, because then these still can go up against the Troll. We also don't necessarily have anything else to flash out. I mean, this could be bad if they then, like, wipe our board, but, I don't know how they do that unless they had, like, double removal spell into Drown in Sorrow or something. They're going to swing? Well, that has got to be bad for me, right? They could have Crypt Rats and Death Touch if they have one more land, I guess. I mean, maybe they just think, oh, well, we're only taking 16 here, but that seems crazy. Or maybe they just have, like, 2 removal spells at least. Lead the Stampede. Okay. Best we could find is a plated pre-combat, which doesn't even protect against a Defile, so I think we just swing. Doesn't make that big of a difference, but yeah, cast down the Muscle, cast down the Muscle. Yeah, they take 4. Lead the Stampede. Come on, be a big one. All right, 4's not bad. Play a plated Sliver. The Elembus. Double map onto the Troll. They get a Colony Garden and then a Snuff Out on top. I don't know why I canceled out the Colony Garden. They have it in hand. They get rid of the Snuff Out. So Garden in hand. Attack for 7. I guess we're dead next turn to this Troll. And Garden can block. They don't even play it? Oh, they already played a Swamp. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Plus they have a Lembus. So we're not going to be able to get them. I really wanted to play a game where I got Crypt Sliver down, but this is the one where we haven't had the mana to do so. I think we got a Predatory Plated Sidewinder to triple block and hope they don't have a removal spell. Attack for 9. I guess I probably should leave back 1 extra creature. So I don't... Yeah, we're going to leave back 2. We know they have a Colony Garden. They got rid of a Snuff Out. Yeah, if they got 2 removal spells, we're going to die here, but I think we got to get in for some reasonable damage to make it so we actually have a chance of winning next turn through the Lembus and maybe more removal and other stuff. There's a Cast Down and a Snuff Out. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. We could have played a lot more conservatively, but I'm just not sure that was the right way to do it. I think we have what we want in our main deck. I mean, we almost got there on a Mull to 5, so... wasn't a bad showing. Turn 1, white, green. Turn 2. Yeah, we have a Lead the Stampede for some card draw, which I think is important in this match. We have Colors of Mana if we can find a Crypt Sliver, which could be really good. We're going to keep it. It's a little slower than some, but I don't think that's too bad in this matchup. Like, obviously, speed would be great, but they have enough ways to slow us down that we need a little bit more longevity with the Lead the Stampede and stuff. Thriving Heath. Dispel. Okay, that could be good because we're going to have that up in a bit. I think we start with the Sinew Sliver because the 1-drops fit into our curve a little easier. If it dies, we can Jolt it awake. Yeah, we get a Plains. So that's Abundant Growth, Quick Sliver. Okay, I think we're just gonna Jolted and Sidewinder here. I could just play one of these and then hold up a Dispel, but I kind of feel like if they have an instant here, unless they're digging for lands, they're probably just gonna cast it on our turn. Yeah, there's a Lembus. Okay. So honestly, a land so I could hold up Dispel and play Lead the Stampede wouldn't be terrible. And there we go. We get the Forest. So swing for 4. If they have a Snuff Out, I can Dispel it. If not, just hit him down a little bit. Play the Stampede. We get 3 Slivers. Now I could play a Plated Sliver. We're tapping onto the Dispel. But they didn't have a Snuff Out. If they have a Cast Down or something, they'll probably wait on it. It's an extra attacker. I think we're going to go for it. And then next turn, we have a Quick Sliver, Dispel, plus these guys. Like, it seems pretty good. Also, this helps if they have a Drown in Sorrow, they can't kill our board. If they have a Crypt Rats, they have to wait an extra turn to do that. There's a Crypt Rats. Okay. I can double Muscle Sliver, and this is suddenly 12. That's not quite enough to be lethal. Otherwise, I would obviously do it and force the chump block. All right, I think we just attack and then leave up Quick Sliver. If they only have 3 mana and activate Crypt Rats to wipe our board, then I can flash in Quick Sliver, flash in a Predatory Sliver. Oh, okay, they have the Snuff Out. That's tough. I can Dispel, but that means, well, I can Dispel and I still have Quick Sliver, Plated Sliver, which is still enough to give enough toughness to survive the Crypt Rats, assuming they don't go for 4. So yeah, let's Dispel this. Also, they took 4 hit off of the Snuff Out, which is really nice. I can't increase this damage even if I wanted to. Yeah. So we're hoping that they don't have a land, or they have like a tap land, and then they Crypt Rats for 3 here. They'll probably attack first. That's what they did before. I could actually flash out Quick Sliver and then to block. That's going to force them to activate for 3, and then I Plated Sliver. I guess if I cast Quick Sliver now and they respond with this, they're going to wipe the board, but they're going to take 3, and then this is still going to be there. That's actually fine. Let's do this. This forces the issue now, so they won't be able to play a land first. Then I block. They probably are also like, oh, I just get another guy out of it. But then we get to flash in the Plated Sliver, and they can't snuff out here because then they'll just die. But they're also going to die if they don't. So yeah, this works out pretty nicely. All right, we got some fun stuff with the Quick Sliver. Yeah, keep our whole board alive. Unless they have like Swamp Defile to kill one of our growers, and then it kills out everybody. Nice, we won the match. All right, that was pretty sick. A little unfortunate we didn't get to use the Crypt Sliver, but Quick Sliver was great. All right, so I apologize for the disjointed nature of that league. Magic Online has been having a lot of connectivity issues recently, and it's been affecting me. It's been affecting opponents, obviously. And so I apologize for that, but we were still able to get 5 matches in and a 3-2 overall, winning that extra match that we're replacing the Nothing Burger match with. And, the deck's pretty cool. I like it a lot. There's a lot of sweet stuff you can do. It very much is just, kind of play your guys and attack with bigger guys. But then once you get the utility creatures in there, it's really cool. The haste. I wish we had gotten a match or played that last match and actually been able to deploy Crypt Sliver, because I think it could be just a huge asset, really powerful in that type of a match. And we didn't really get to see it at all, unfortunately. We did get a match off with Winged Sliver, which was pretty sweet, against Heroic. Hunter Sliver we got to see against Spy, and Quick Sliver we just saw at the end there. So we saw a lot of the other ones, which was sweet. We also got to splash our Dispel, Blue Elemental Blast, play Standard Bearer and Masked Vandal. So there's a lot of sweet stuff we were able to do. It did feel like we had to mulligan a lot. We're playing 19 lands, and most of them are basics, which obviously you want the untapped lands. I think that's very important. But obviously there were some that were 1-landers or 2-landers with all the one color, and it made things a little harder. I do think that these utility creatures are too good to not play. I think this deck would be a lot worse if it was just green-white. However, only having 9 sources for your other colors, and sometimes the thrivings you have to put on green or white, can make things a little bit awkward. Not really sure what you could do about that. You could go up on Gemhide Slivers and more haste slivers as well to kind of play with that a little bit. It wouldn't be bad, but obviously it could be a little bit slower. Masked Vandals, of course, felt pretty nice in the main deck. Some matches they're dead, and some matches they're really, really strong. I will say I don't necessarily think they're necessary in the main deck. They're fine there, but if you needed to make room, it's not like Spy where they're countering something that your opponent's very likely to have. Graveyard Hate in the main deck in the form of Spell Bomb. So it's not super necessary, so I think they could maybe be cut for something else. Our Winding Waves were really good, and our Lead the Stampedes were a little bit less so. Obviously, that's just variance. But I would love to find a way to up the creature count. I do like the utility of the Jolted Awakes. They were really strong, buying back your 2-drops for just 1 mana, and being a little bit of a toolbox thing. What do I need right now? But it feels like maybe they could just be more creatures to hit off of your Lead the Stampede and Winding Ways. I did just check, and there's not a lot of other great slivers to, replace the Jolted Awakes or anything with. There's a 2-mana 1 in white that's a 1/1 that gives all your creatures first strike, but as we saw, we didn't really need first strike that much. Even the flanking wasn't super necessary, and it's just nice because it's a 1-drop. I also looked at more changelings, and there wasn't a lot that caught my eye. To be honest, this irregular cohort could be kind of interesting. It's 4 mana, and it makes 2 2/2s, which is nothing exciting, but 2 bodies on 1 card could be really nice with all of your many ways to pump your creatures. It is a 4-drop in a 19-land deck, so that's also a little bit of a downside. We certainly played off of 2 or 3 mana a lot of the time, but we also got more lands a fair amount of the time. Obviously, this doesn't get Jolted Awake either, so that would be another reason to not play it. So this would be maybe a 1 or 2 of. There's not a lot else that I have to say. It just feels like upping the creature count a little bit could be nice, but I will say the other thing that I kind of wanted was some sort of removal. Obviously, it could be good against Clan Shaman, it could be good against Spy Walls and things like that, but just having a little bit more ways to play around stuff. If your opponent plays a Crypt Rats and we actually have a way to kill it, that could be nice too. And obviously that removal would probably be Thraben Charm or maybe Horrific Assault for a 1-mana way to do it. That also gains you life if you have your Masked Vandal out. For the sideboard, it did feel like with Spy running around, no Graveyard Hate was pretty rough. The Provoke Slivers were not bad at all, but I do think maybe 2 or 3 Thraben Charms could be pretty necessary for this deck. You could also do Relic of Progenitus or something like that, but that obviously has a little bit of non-bow with your Jolted Awake and can just get Masked Vandaled down. But otherwise, I liked the deck a lot. We used most of our sideboard, so it's not like there was any cards that I thought were unnecessary, but obviously making room for some Graveyard Hate could be nice. And it snowballs really nicely. You get 1 or 2 of these guys down, and you're board's pretty nice and big, but once you have 5 creatures and you slam another one, you just add so much power so quickly. So it's still really cool. I hope some of that was helpful. Thank you again for the deck donation, and thank you to my supporters, including my $10 supporters: Howard Granger, Rafa Rodriguez, JDMPX, Jason Golombuski, Halkaz, Cody Cowell, Illintent, and Emmanuel Mayer. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time. All right, round 1 here, we have pretty reasonable opening hand. We can do turn 1 Sidewinder, and then turns 2, 3, and 4 we can just pump up our team. Yeah, flanking can be good. Jolted Awake. I mean, I don't think this is a mulligan. It doesn't have anything fancy like card draw or anything like that, but just seems solid enough. We are against either Jund or Grixis, it looks like, or Mardu, but any of those are going to have access to a Kirkland Shaman, so it could be a difficult matchup. Ichor Wellspring to start things off. If they play a refurb, they can actually make us discard a Sliver, which could be cheaper with a Jolted Awake. That could be kind of cool. 1 Thriving Land, I didn't mind drawing. The second one seems a little unnecessary. We're going to play one of these out. I don't think it really matters which. Pre-combat, obviously, because it pumps the damage we deal. 2 here. And if they don't just have the Krark or Galvanic Blast or anything to remove our guys, next turn we're hitting for 6, which can be pretty strong. So while they do have good cards in their deck to counter us, if they don't have it right now and Dirtle for just 2 or 3 turns, we might be able to just aggro them out. There's the Galvanic Blast. If we draw an untapped land, then we can Jolt It Awake and play one of our other Slivers. If not, we're just going to hardcast one of these and play a Grove. Gemhide. I could play Gemhide Sliver and then Jolt Awake the Predatory Sliver. The next turn I can just play the Muscle and Sinew. Is that better? I don't get in for an attack this turn, but I'm only hitting for 2. Yeah, I think it's probably better. We get an extra guy out this turn, which seems like it's got to be pretty decent. Bring this guy back. We'll play a Thriving Grove on... It's pretty much just a toss-up if we're going to get black or red. We already have the Gemhide, so it's not the end of the world if we don't. Yeah, I guess Haste. If we draw the Haste one, we're going to want as much untapped mana as possible. We hit in for a bunch. If we draw the black one, we're already going to be playing a little bit more carefully, I think. So we might not be as upset about like tapping one of our Slivers to produce the black mana is my thought. They go for a bargain. So they are Grixis, but they missed a land last turn. Okay. Untapped land would be great. Okay. I mean, even without the untapped land, we can still play 2 or 3 of these. Play Sinew. So I could just bash for 9, although I could play another one of these, bash for 8. We only lose 1 damage. And of course, I could just play both of these. I think that might be a little all in. Because then if they... I mean, if I just have one of these Slivers in hand, what's it going to do for us? If they wipe the board, we're going to probably lose anyway. And it would make it harder for them to wipe the board without getting Death Touch. We're definitely playing 1. Yeah, hit for 8. I kind of think we just play this, and then next turn we can attack for 30. Just then they have to sacrifice 5 artifacts if they want to come back, and I think that's better for us. Sacrificing 8 damage. They go to 12. And then next turn we have 5 lethal attackers. Whereas if we play this next turn, we have, well, not 5 lethal attackers. If 3 gets through, it'd be lethal. If we just play this, then 4 gets through, it'd be lethal. Yeah, okay. I think we're just gonna hit for 8. I'm gonna play the other Grove on black this time. I don't know. 8 damage is a lot to pass up on, but there is the idea of if they don't get a Krark, or if they do get a Krark, what difference is it going to make? I don't know. They go for the Thoughtcast. If they don't kill our board, even if they get some Enforcers, our guys are going to be bigger than theirs, which is pretty funny. Jolted Awake was kind of hot there. Just, we passed up on 2 damage to undo their Galvanic Blast. That was kind of cool for just 1 mana. I love Jolted Awake. I wish it was better in, more decks, which was established in a deck or something. They are digging for the Krark, losing their blood token. So even if they find it now, they're going to have to lose a lot of lands. Looks like if they leave up a Galvanic Blast, they still would take 12. Go to clean up. Muscle Sliver. I don't think there's anything they could have that's going to make us regret just casting both of these. In fact, I think just one of these should be lethal no matter what. But, I mean, they could have a Reckoner's Bargain, but only gain 1 life, obviously. I can't imagine they'd be playing Darkness. All right, and they concede. Okay, and Magic Online's been doing this a whole bunch recently, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish the match out.